Welcome to the Sheffield United way. My name is Hal. We're already at that transfer rumour stage of the season where seemingly we are going to be linked with quite a lot of players. The question is, do we make the right deals in and out? We're going to focus on the ins, but maybe with a little glance to a potential few outs. Always a worry when you don't achieve your objective of promotion that you're going to lose some of your best players. Obviously, I hope that doesn't happen. Ideally, I'd just like to add to an already pretty good squad, certainly at championship level. Out of contract players that could be on the Blades' radar is where we're going to focus our attention. Now, do we need a goalkeeper? Probably not. And hopefully that remains the case. But I am going to focus on Freddy Woodman on a free. He's 28. He'll be 29 in March of next year, if he's not careful. Been at Preston North End since 2022, the former Newcastle keeper, although he is from that London, and started his youth career with Crystal Palace. By the way, every Palace fan that I have seen on my holidays, I've been going up to them, I've been congratulating them, like they actually had anything to do with that cup final win. But anyway, former England Youth International Freddy Woodman, he won the Preston North End Player of the Year award in his first season with the club. He signed a 3-year deal in 2022. So, by my maths, a free transfer now, and P&E have also confirmed that he'd leave. He'd been linked with some pretty big clubs, so is there any chance of Sheffield United actually snapping him up? I wouldn't have thought we'd be top of his list. He's been rumoured to be linked with Newcastle, where he's already been, and Manchester United. Why? Well, that's part of their strategy to fulfil UEFA's homegrown player requirements rule. Agile, good game concentration. I've spoken to some Preston North End fans. They think he's got decent handling. Apparently, he's a very vocal keeper. You could look at it like this. He could be arguably really good backup, like superb backup for Cooper, but I doubt he'd want that. And if Cooper was to leave, well, I think he could certainly, Freddie Woodman, do a job at championship level. But I don't actually put a lot of stock in that. I think he'll have interest elsewhere that will be, certainly for him, more appealing. And also, I think he's going to want to play first-team football. So actually, he either goes for the money at like a Newcastle or a Manchester United and just has a kind of Richard Wright, Scott Carson kind of few years, or if he is going to go to a championship club, he probably would want to go to one where they don't have, in my opinion, the best goalkeeper in the entire league. Defence. Well, let's focus on a defender we've been linked with for a while. James Gerard Dunn, a.k.a. Jimmy Dunn, is where we're going to turn to next. He can play right back or centre-back. I think we have identified right back as a problem area for Sheffield United. Okay, we have 𝗍𝗵𝗴, the injured 𝗍𝗫, and I really like 𝗍𝗫, but last season, that position was largely filled by lone players. Harry Clark, Hamza Chowdhury, Alfie Gilchrist. Is Jimmy Dunn the man to finally nail that position down as an actual permanent signing? He's more defensive than 𝗍𝗫, so perhaps you mix it up, depending on the opposition, or in-game, depending on if we're chasing a match, or, imagine this, holding onto a narrow 1-0 lead. Sheffield United, never. But it could happen. Now, he's 6'3" according to some websites, 6 foot according to others. Let's call him 6'2" and call the whole thing off. He's now 27, 28 in October 2025. And he's from Dundalk in Ireland. He is a full Republic of Ireland international. He played locally in Ireland before joining the youth setup at Manchester United in 2007. After transferring to Burnley in 2016, he spent time on loan at Barrow, as well as Accrington Stanley. He actually managed last season a very, very good season. He bagged 9 yellow cards. Okay, he's a player that gets stuck in, but he didn't get any red cards, which is always on the encouraging side when you're talking about defenders. You don't want to be getting red cards in matches. It can transform games. Just look at Coventry away for us last season. He bagged 5 goals with 2 assists after playing 45 matches. I mean, starting 45 is just truly incredible in the days of players getting injured more and more, it seems, because of the fast-natured pace and strength of the modern game. But in 24-25 for QPR, he had a very, very successful season. In fact, we're going to look at some of the stats. Now, in terms of defending, that's where I think we should focus our attention. 70 tackles won, 61.9% of the tackles he went into per 90, he won. 376 duels won. Very, very good. So aerial duels won. He won 63.3% of his aerial duels, 46 interceptions, 10 blocks. He committed 48 fouls. There was 154 recoveries. He won possession back in the final third 11 times, and he was only dribbled past 20 times. Now, in the 2024-25 season, I'm just going to say last season, he continued to impress largely at the right back position, being voted as the club's player of the season, also won the Players' Player of the Year, which means he's a good guy in the dressing room. Usually that's what that means, and retained the Junior Hoops Player of the Year, whatever that is. In his career, he's made 253 appearances with 18 goals, and the key thing, QPR fans love him. Type his name into, let's say, a Twitter search, and you'll see they do not want this guy to leave. Kwami Paku is where we're going to go next. The extremely determined winger. He's 23, 27 appearances in League One for Peterborough last season, 12 goals, 8 assists. Worth noting, in December 2024, he had a hamstring injury which kept him out for nearly 100 days, 93 days. I know that's not 100 days, but it feels like it's nearly 100 days. He's left-footed, another right winger that can cut inside. He's pacey. He's good at dribbling, having scored 3 in 4 matches during September of 2024. Paku was named the EFL League One Player of the Month, and his impressive form just continued on from that. 7 goal involvements in 6 matches after that, seeing him win the award for the 2nd consecutive month. Now, he's actually born in England, but he represents Ghana. Now, why do I mention that? Well, I always think internationally, who you play for does actually have a bearing. It's something to think about, because we've got to reference travel. We saw it with Souttar. I do wonder if Souttar would have had his serious injury had he not had to travel so far, a long time sitting down, long-haul flights. Am I reading too much into it? Maybe. He's played 119 times, Paku, as a right winger, and in that position, he's got 28 goals and 24 assists. 16 times he's played as a left winger, using that left foot, going down the left-hand side, 3 goals and 3 assists. But here's the interesting thing. He's also played through the middle as an attacking midfielder 50 times. That's enough of a sample size for us to say, could he be a number 10 option? Well, he got 4 goals from attacking midfield, 8 assists. Now, his stats by club: Colchester United, he played for them 75 times, 6 goals, 7 assists. But he really kicked on at the Posh with 30 goals, 30 assists in 147 games. The former, we can say now, Peterborough United winger, has interest, though, from a lot of clubs. Reading online, I found him linked with 25 clubs from the UK and overseas. And his representatives seem to be carefully going through his options. So, for me, this is one that I think, of the players I've mentioned so far, is probably the most exciting. But then again, wingers are always going to be classed as more exciting than goalkeepers and right backs. But there's a lot of competition. Now, Jimmy Dunn, we know, is a Wilder favourite, and Wilder likes to chase players for quite a long time. And it feels like if we could have got Dunn in the January transfer window, we would have done. And it might just be that, well, now we actually finally get it over the line. Let's conclude with a striker, and it's 26-year-old free agent Emil Ree Jacobson. The right-footed forward is known mainly for his time at Preston North End. A striker, though, who divides opinion among the PNE fans that I've spoken to. Some rate him, but some really not fans. He can also play on the wing, both flanks, and that suggests, certainly to me, he's another non-out-and-out striker, a number 9, which we probably do crave more than another floating forward. But he's tall, so he's actually got those stats that say, well, why would he play on the wing? He's Danish. He'll be 27 on the 24th of June. He's 6'3". You feel like if we're going to go target man, this could be the guy. Now, we've been linked by association with Ollie McBurney. We've already got 𝗍𝗄𝗎. I'd imagine he'd be in that mould, just purely down to his height and size. Apparently, good feet for a big man. Now, he joined the youth academy of Randers in his homeland at the age of 14. He went on to become the top scorer of the under-17 team, scoring 24 youth league goals. He had some trials. He actually joined Derby County back in 2015, and he was part of their under-18 team. He further progressed on to play for the under-23 team and scored 11 goals as his side at the Derby County team he was part of gained the Premier League 2 Division 1 status. And a lot of people attribute that to just how much he contributed. On the 13th of June 2018, it was announced that he would return to his homeland and also to Randers FC, where he signed a 3-year contract. In the 2018-19 season, his first season in the top Danish Superliga, he played regularly. Wasn't always a starter, but when he did, he had a decent season. He also played for the reserve team a few times, but after 19 appearances for the first team, he scored 3 goals. They finished 8th in the league table during the regular season, qualified for Group 2 in the exciting relegation round in which the club made the playoffs for European football as group winners. Ries was also utilised in all matches and scored in the 1-0 win against 𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗏. And in the playoffs, Randers reached the third and decisive qualifying round where they eventually lost 4-2 to Brøndby, who qualified for the Europa League, so a decent side. Now, in the 2019-20 season, Ries was available to establish himself in the starting lineup and actually scored 5 goals in 29, and Randers, I don't know how you say it, ended in 7th place, and he scored 3 goals, again in that relegation round, which they're so fond of in Denmark. Now, he signed a 4-year contract on the 1st of October 2020 with Preston North End. That was for an undisclosed fee. He made 186 appearances in all competitions and scored 46 goals. His championship records, if we go starts, 172, 41 goals and 11 assists. That's just championship. Now, in 24-25, he managed 12 goals. Last season, 2 assists, and that was in just 29 starts. He was used as a sub 16 additional times. He's been capped by Denmark at youth level. He was actually called up to Denmark's senior squad for the 2022 World Cup qualifying games against the Faroe Islands and Scotland, but he was left on the bench in that match against Scotland. Didn't actually get a cap. Maybe that's to come. In total, last season, 2,713 minutes played, 12 goals, a 10.41 XG. So that's expected goals. XG on target, 11.19, a non-penalty XG then of 10.41, 70 shots, 30 of those on target. The right footer was booked only twice, no reds last season. He has had a knee injury problem, which first occurred in 2023. Always think that is something to just keep an eye on. Now, with the players that I've mentioned there, do you think some, all, or is there one that you'd say is most likely and that you'd really be interested in? Are there other players that you think are far more likely? As always, be really interested to know your thoughts. Thanks for being part of the program.
𝗚𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗚. 𝗚𝗿𝗏𝗏𝗚.